Good morning, good morning, good morning, and God bless you, comic book community. You know, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him," Jesus Christ. Look, you got to believe on him. Whosoever believe on him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And this is what he's offering us today, everlasting life through him, Jesus Christ. The only way we're going to make it to heaven, because as I told you in previous episodes, comic book community, that heaven is a prepared place for a prepared people. And we yet thank the Lord this morning. Well, again, here we are. Long Haul Mondays, y'all. Episode 28 of Porch Puppy Comics, where if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. And in this particular episode, we're going to be dealing with some long haul books picked up, some dollar books, some might have came in through eBay, over the past couple of months or so. And these, I think you'll like these. So we just want to go jump right on into it. We talked about the Micronauts and not being able to use their names in that little hook run I showed you that they did. Well, I forgot what episode that was, but anyway, they were in there. But then these came about. Now, I found these in dollar boxes about a couple of months back. And every time I pick them up, I would always turn around and get rid of them. But this time around, I kept them because they just beautiful books. And again, it's a reprint, a retelling. If I'm not mistaken, each one of these have 3 issues. The issue 1 has issue 1 through 3, and issue 2 has 4, 5, and 6. And so, I'm trying to look to get the rest of this together. I think it only had 5 issues all together, but look to get these sometime or another picked up, by Bill Mantlo, Mike Golden, some of these, and I'm telling you, they real nice. Now, these particular books here, they also came out with, they had pinups in the back, and they also had the original cover to number 1. So let me show you the original cover that, almost lost one here, fellas. There we go. Hope you all had a great weekend. We were busy, church meetings all weekend. Lord coming in, and I mean, he really blessed tremendously. Our pastor preached a strong word from God. Look at here, y'all. Check that out. That's the cover that they didn't use for issue 1. And I like it better than the original cover. And in case your mind needs to be refreshed on what the issue was, they also put the original covers in here as well. Very nice. Very, very nice. And I like this. They said they almost had it on par with Star Wars by the way it was set up. Baron Kaza. I'm telling you, I like this character. Let's see if you can get a good look at him. There we go. There's a Jack of Hearts advertisement. And they all had a wraparound cover with Biotron and Mectron, or Microtron, whatever his name is. But those are nice. The books are sharp, they're clean. I believe it's one of those type of books where if you're digging in the dollar bins, I suggest you go ahead and pick it up. I heard too, I think off of Comic Tom, that they're supposed to be redoing a ROM and a ROM omnibus that they're supposed to be coming out with. And I'm telling you, sometimes if you can't afford to get the originals, as I always say, if you can get the facsimile until you can do better, that'd be the thing to do. But there you go. Micronauts, special edition number 1 and 2. And as we're moving on, we have in this Long Haul Mondays Conan Universe Handbook #1, and probably the only acclaimed Valiant character that I really collected when they switched over to the Acclaim Comics headline there was Exo Man of War. This particular variation of Exo looks so much like the way Iron Man was set up. And at first, every other one that they put out, I just didn't, the Ninjak was horrible. The, what was the other one that they did? The Exo, the Ninjak, and I can't think of it. If you know in the community, as you liking, sharing, and subscribing and ringing that notification bell, hit me up in the comments and let me know what those other books were. Can't think of them because I'm telling you, man, those books were awful. But let me show you the interior art. I'm trying to show a little bit more art on these books and on the inside, because like I told you, that's what got me started up. And what do you think, y'all? Look at this. Now, some of you out there in the community might like that. That's, dumpster fire, y'all. It is indeed a dumpster fire. But this setup here, they always do a retelling, go through and do the armor setup. Try to find you a good picture here. Check that one out. That is nice indeed. And I like the setup of how they did this character. I'm going to go through one day, and while I'm out digging, see, I got certain things that I'm trying to find now while I'm digging, finishing up, filling in a few holes and different things like that. So I'm trying to see what I can find. If I can find this Exo Run Man of War from the Acclaim in this particular shape, because like I said, this was a dollar find. Okay. The Conan Universe, I got in a trade. And this is just Marvel's version. It says the official handbook of Conan Universe. It's got everything in there, pictures. It's set up like the Marvel Universe characters that they had, with the superheroes. And it only came out in one book, and that come out in 1986, y'all. So it's pretty decent. And I usually try to keep one of those in my collection as well. Let us move on. We have here some World War Hulks. Well, we got a World War Hulk in the person of 609 and 618 with the Chaos War. Didn't really get into the Chaos War, but the art, again, is what got me. And these, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, were dollar books. And as you can see, sometimes you can get into the dollar books, and if they're in bags and boards, you can still look a little rough. And sometimes you can find them, and just like I told you about those classic X-Men, that big stack of classic X-Men I got out of the dollar bins, and they weren't bagged nor boarded. And I'm telling you, you talking about some nice books, y'all. But these here are nice. Check out those covers. This is another Hulk artist that I like too, outside of Keon. And this is the Incredible Hulks with this again, 621, 623 in the Savage Land. And these books are real nice. Anytime you're going to throw Hulk in with a bunch of dinosaurs plus his sons with him, Scars with him, they fighting in there. And, sometimes you just got to grab the stuff. That's all it is to it. If you piece them together, I used to be the type of person where I'd leave them sitting, and if I didn't have at least the connecting 5, issues, I just leave them sitting. But here lately, I've been, if I'm able to pick them up. And while I'm on that note, let us not forget on Lord bless, and delay is coming, on next Saturday on the 17th in Evansville, Indiana, at the Washington Square Mall, will be the Southern Indiana Comic Book Show. And it's been ramping up. It's been fantastic. Brother Arnold's got more people, more vendors coming up. T. Ravis will be there. My brother, he'll be there setting up. And it's going to be something real nice to be there, And like I said, come and enjoy yourself. If you're coming through Evansville, or just mark the date on your calendar and come on down. I'm telling you, you're going to find some nice stuff, I guarantee. So let's see these next ones. Incredible Hulks 627 and 628. Dealing with the Incredible Hulk and Betty Banner, the Red She-Hulk. And that was a good time. That was a good read. Again, good story. And I mean, if you see them and you pick them up, if you're a Hulk fan, I've been a Hulk fan ever since I've been collecting. First superhero I ever drawn was the Incredible Hulk. And my cousin, as I told y'all, he used to take and draw cars, and my father was in the old cars and different things like that. And I couldn't really draw them. Folks, I was still in the mindset of drawing the triangle cars with the potato wheels. Y'all know how them were back when you were kids. And, you know, the more whooped you made the wheels, made it look like it was driving faster, but that might be before y'all's time. But anyway, we did that, and I remember one day I said, I'm just going to draw the Hulk. Well, he tried to draw it and couldn't draw it, and he ended up drawing an afro on the Incredible Hulk and putting a cigarette and sunshades on him. Needless to say, me and my cousin kind of battled over that one, you know, because I guess if he couldn't draw it, then he was going to mess up mine. But from that point on, you know, the Lord blessed me where I was able to draw vintage cars and you know, sports cars and different things like that. Just to find something new, because for one thing, that was the thing that my dad was into. So I figured if I can draw an old car, you always want to make your dad and your mom happy, you know. And I thank the Lord. I had some great parents, y'all. I had some great parents. As I said in the beginning, you know, we just lost our mother in January of this year. And by far, I hope those of you out there in the community will, you know, take the time to, you know, hug your mama, hug your daddy, you know, tell them how much you love them, you know, and if you give them any trouble down through the years into your adulthood, go back and apologize. As my wife tells me so many times, you know, which I never gave my parents any trouble. They never had to come to the jail and pick me up. They never had to, you know, I just never did. I respected them and loved them that much. But if you didn't treat your parents right and they still with you, you better treasure them. That's all I got to say on that, y'all. Incredible Hulks, number 629, 630. Again, check out Betty got Hulk in the head locker, and you don't see that too often. That's kind of funny. But then over here where she's on Monster Island, the heart of the monster starts here, and it's dealing with a whole bunch of monsters. And again, as long as you got some monsters in there, hey, it's a party, y'all. Let's move on here. Coming up on the last part of the Hulks. 631 and 632. Now, I don't know how many parts of this Heart of the Monster there are, but I have the first 3. So I'll have to see how many more they are. I like this cover right here with the Wendigo and the Bi-Beast. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Bi-Beast I think he's dead already in the comics. So you don't see that much of him. And then the Wendigo, of course, they done made it to where that Wendigo spirit can be transferable to somebody else. You know, I think they done a book where Wolverine and Hulk, or just Wolverine, I can't remember. Y'all can tell me. That there was a bunch of them that they was dealing with. So, but this particular book, I like this cover here. And, you know, if you got a chance to pick them up, that is your opportunity. Okay, what else we got here, y'all? Okay. Coming out of the Hulks, going into... Now, anytime I see these, I'll pick them up because I gauge them and see which ones are better issues than the one I have. And again, these are dollar books, and I love these particular books. They're from the 80s, and I showed you a mini series, I think it was called Dark Apocalypse, featuring Captain Paragon. Well, here's his book here. 80s run. As you can tell, these books are sharp corners. They look nice. And in essence, y'all, I got 3 of these, and when I get so many books that some I'm keeping for the PC and some I'm putting in a box to trade off. Most of the time I'd rather go ahead, as I told you beforehand, and trade, because a lot of times you don't really get, a good dollar value on your books. And if I can trade for something that I want, more the better. But this book here come out in the 80s. It's a great book. Of course, he's a Superman character. He's with a super team called the Sentinels of Justice in this AC Americomics is what they used to be called. And I'm going to tell you, in this particular book, y'all, let me pop this one open. It's almost a throwback to some of the older books. The art is simple. The storyline is simple. You just don't, it's not a lot of hoopla in it, I guess you would say. That's the first page. I drew that picture years ago, and that was in my portfolio that the kids at my grandson's school ended up with. I was going to show you another picture. Okay. This was another book that I collected, Miss Victory. Still put out by the same company. Bill Black done this. A lot of good girl art, they called them. Now, this woman here, Miss Victory, she is in reality, she's either in her 70s or in her 80s. I think she's in her 80s. But she takes this pill that makes her younger, gives her superpowers, and she's been a superhero since the 1940s. And she comes back as Miss Victory. Well, she tried a variation of the pill, and then she ended up turning into a 90s version of Miss Victory, which she nicknamed herself Rad. And, she looked like a punk rocker, basically. And then something happened down the road where I think her granddaughter ended up getting the pill, and then she ended up being Rad, and she went back to being Miss Victory. But it would just be just like you would figure she'd be, super strength, bulletproof and different things. It was real good. And these particular, I think you might have heard T. Ravis and some others. A lot of times people would laugh at you back in the day when you collected this particular stuff because it wasn't the mainstream. But, as I told you here at PPC, the mainstream, unless it's something I just feel like I just got to get to read, I can't mess with it. It's too much of the identity politics. It's too much of the gender politics, and all this other kind of stuff. When I sit down to read a comic, which is sometimes few and far between, I want to sit down. I want to enjoy the book. It's one of them, like you sit down, you watch a movie, it's just silly, it's crazy, but you just want to sit down and just basically turn your brain off and enjoy. As my brother Ramesh used to say, you just want to veg out and enjoy yourself. Okay. The next two issues, again. No, you're not seeing double out there in the community. Well, I guess you are. Yes. So this is 2. This is issue 2 of Captain Paragon. And again, like I said, if you got an opportunity to pick these books up, if you see them out in the wild, if you see them going through the dollar books, go on KJ's recommendation. If all you're going to spend is $1, and look, I've been watching you folks on YouTube. I've been watching y'all. I think when I got started in the watching might have been before the pandemic hit, and just picked up steam from there. And y'all have ran across some great stuff. And I see some people have some of the same issues I have. And what I mean by issues, I mean not comics, but issues as far as finding books. As my brother Mikey would say, target rich environments. Sometimes here in Kentucky, especially in our part of it, you got to do a little traveling. Sometimes you driving, which may not sound a whole lot to some folks, but, our nearest comic shop, let's see, one way is about 45 minutes, and the other way is about an hour. So I mean, you got to make that drive. And as I told you, here at Porch Puppy, we got to do things kind of decent and in order because, sometimes, as I've said before, there's too much month for the end of the money. And certain things take more precedence over comics. I said, one of these days I'm going to have to watch and see how these folks do it. And especially those that can go and buy stacks upon stacks of new books, knowing that they already got a $4 to sometime a $10 price tag on them. And I'm like, wow, how do they do that? And still able to buy, supplies and different things, but, I mean, I like it. I like to go, sometimes I say when we have, like, if we got this show that's coming up, that's the time when you wish you'd had at least $200-300 on you. Now, I know folks are thinking, well, what's $200-300, man? You ain't looking to get no big books. Well, no, maybe not looking to get no big books. But like I said, at these shows, especially if you end up going to Comics Unlimited's booth there, Matt Hall's, my other brother, he'll cut you some deals. Some of the folks will work deals with you, and if you buy a certain amount of books, you can fill up a long box or a short box and, they might cut you a deal on them or something like that. I haven't got to that extreme yet, but, I mean, you might be able to find you something real nice. And that's Captain Paragon #2. And the last two books on the docket, you all boys and girls, we have Captain Paragon #3. This fella here looks like one of the Badoon from Marvel, but classic pose, classic cover, the colors pop. And look, y'all, I'm just telling you, the book is nice. Now, this one here, outside of being a real nice book, corner sharp, no spine ticks whatsoever, this book is cut crazy. If you open the inside, when you open this cover up, the first part of it, you'll see the back cover. And it's from the printer like that. It got from the printer. So I said, well, I guess I'll have to end up finding me another #3. And then I'm needing a #4. So when I find another 3 and probably 2 #4s, just to keep everything going like it's supposed to. And last but not least is one of my 2 favorite characters, Gladiator and Supreme. And this here was a battle because you had two heroes that just wasn't going to give up. And I said, anytime they put a collaboration between Marvel Comics and Maxim Press, anytime you bring those characters in or cross folks over like that, I always say you want to see a fair fight. We always used to have this argument back in the day that as much as we like Superman, as much as we like the Hulk, we always figured that, the Hulk would be able to take Superman because it's always been touted so many years. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. Now, there's been so many different variations of the Incredible Hulk down through the years. And I believe the World War Hulk, if Superman had to take on the World War Hulk in that iteration, it might have been a whole different story because this man was kicking butt and taking names. And it was a good read. And I would enjoy to read that one, see something like that. But, on some of those books, they're never going to try to do them right. I mean, I remember one story I said that when they had the Marvel DC crossover, where I think it was Aquaman and Submariner fighting. And of course, in the under the water, they both get stronger. But, even on land, they both strong. But under the water, they really get stronger. But it just got me where if y'all got that book, go back and read it and tell me. Now, Aquaman, they was fighting, but he ended up dropping a blue whale. He was on the blue whale, caught a blue whale, and just literally dropped the blue whale on top of Submariner. I said, oh, that was cold. That was cold. And out of all the battles that took place, Wolverine and Lobo and Batman and Captain America, and I'd rather send Batman and Moon Knight go at it. But he dropped a whale on the man. Come on, y'all. That was crazy. I'm going to get this book and open it up. Some of you guys and girls in the community, you may already have this particular book. Let me see. Let me see if I can get you a good picture here. I mean, the whole book is nice, but I want to get you a good setup. Yeah, can't ask for a better one than that. Check that out, y'all. If you get an opportunity to pick that up, I suggest you pick it up. I mean, the whole book is like that all the way through. It's a nice battle. I'm not going to give you a spoiler and tell you how the fight ended. To me, it didn't really end well. I wanted a resolution on it. And, well, if you already got the book, go back and check it out for yourself. And if you don't, if you see it out in the wild, pick it up. And while you're out there, I suggest you pick up Huck versus Pitt, another Dale Keown joint. I'm telling you, that book was fantastic. I'm looking for that one as well. So it's just like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm going back picking up is stuff I got rid of down through the years, kind of nostalgia. But I just yet thank the Lord that I'm able to go through and still yet able to show y'all these books and hope and pray that you enjoy it. And remember what I tell y'all all the time. It's fun on the porch. And this is episode 28, Long Haul Monday. And we thank the Lord for you. Yet praying for you, comic community. As I tell you, only Jesus Christ can fill that void. So let him fill the void for you. Let him bless you. Let him save you. Let him fix you up. You don't have to, we sing a song every time you go into services, you don't have to leave here like you came in Jesus' name. Because he can fix you up. He can change you. He can turn you around and put you on the street called straight. He will fix you up. Because if I didn't have Jesus Christ in my life, comic book community, I would be a man most miserable. So I yet thank you for tuning in. And again, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you got any questions, send me some questions. I'm glad that you're tuning in, and I appreciate you tuning in. Let others know about the Porch Puppy. He's showing comics. Our next run, if it be the will of the Lord, will be our New to Me Comic Book Wednesday. And hopefully I can squeeze the Pickle Barrel out for Saturday. And as I said, I'm going to do my best to make sure that these videos come out either, 12 a.m. or 6 a.m. So keep a watch. Set it up, y'all. And look, I always remember, I love you with the love of the Lord. And it's fun and nice on the porch. God bless you, comic book community. Have a good morning.